then, from not a single draw in the previous 12 matches, we've had 3 draws in the latest 5 matches, including that of Nigeria-Iran. But while that match has been widely ridiculed as a bore draw, the 2 draws from last night were a mixed affair. To get more into it, here's Mark to wrap last night's action with me. Good morning, Mark, and thank you very much for joining us.
Morning, Kendall.
Mark, another African team fails to make the cut. Is the continent not ready to beat the world's best?
Obviously, we haven't had the greatest of start. I think as an African continent, we would have wanted a better start. We've got 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses. Now, the 3 losses were obviously a disappointment. But we can take out from the performance of a team like Ivory Coast. I think they will compete with the best. Algeria last night weren't bad. Algeria put up a good, solid performance. I think their heads just ran away with them a bit at the end. I think coming into the game, they would have been happy with a point. And so they led for so long, and I think, you know, the complex of the game changed because now they were looking at the win instead of the draw. But I think once Belgium had equalized, they should have just gone back and said, hey, we've got a point, let's relax, let's keep the point, we've got that in the bag, and that would have been good enough for me because Belgium in this group is obviously the toughest team. And so a point would have been good enough for Algeria. So them trying to go for the win after Belgium equalized kind of messed them up a bit, and I think that was their mistake.
But surely a football match, as all footballers know, is played from whistle to whistle.
Definitely, and that's what I'm saying. I think, obviously, in their minds as the players, because they had led for such a long time, they were already looking and counting the 3 points. And once Belgium had equalized, now they've lost 2 points when it wasn't the case. Coming into the game, a draw would have been good enough, and they should have realized that and try to hold on to the draw at least.
No, talking about Belgium, they made some fairly astute tactical changes at halftime. Do you think this made the difference?
Definitely, and that also proves Belgium's pedigree because they've got a deep bench as well, and that's so important for any team that wants to compete. You're going to need good enough replacements. You can't only have a starting 11, and that's where a lot of teams fall short. Now, Belgium were able to go to their bench, and they got winners from their bench, and that made a big difference for them. I'm sure Manchester United supporters were wondering who that Fellaini was because they haven't seen that player all season, and that's why he was signed. But he came on and he made a huge difference for them. Obviously, Mertens coming off the bench as well and getting a goal. So definitely Belgium are one to look out with. What really impressed me was their patience. Because they'd been down for so long, they didn't panic. They knew what they had to do, and they kept plugging away. They kept putting pressure on Algeria, and eventually that pressure paid off.
Right, now Lukaku, he didn't feature. In fact, he got substituted during the match. Is this because he was marked out?
I wouldn't say that. I think he had an off night. The Algerian defense was very organized, especially in the first half, and they frustrated Belgium as a whole. The way they got behind the ball, they had a plan. You could see that they came into the game tactically sound because they knew they're just going to everyone get behind the ball, make sure that they defend the goal well, and then try to catch them on the counter, and that's how they actually got the penalty and got the goal. So they did really well in the first half, but the pressure told. Belgium had 65% of the possession. They had 16 shots on goal, 10 on target. So eventually it's like the bank was going to break. But I think if Algeria just held their heads and yelled on to the draw, it would have been better. Lukaku, he had a bad game. I think it's just an off night. I think he'll come back stronger because he is a quality player. Right,
now let's go to the big match of the night, the Brazil against Mexico match, where they had their 10-match winning streak, which they last lost in August last year when they played Switzerland. Mexico brought it to an end.
We said yesterday that the complexion of games are going to change because teams are now entering their second game. They're not necessarily going to go all out for wins. And so Mexico, coming into this game, I think they would have come in wanting at least a draw. They wanted to come in making sure that they don't lose. But on the balance of play, I would say that a draw was actually a fair result because Mexico weren't without their chances. Brazil did really well, and they probably had the better chances. But Mexico were in the game. There was a point in the second half, in the first 20 minutes of the second half, where Mexico were all over Brazil. So they gave as good as they got. And I mean, this was a really entertaining 0-0 draw. Like we were speaking about Nigeria and Iran being a bore draw. This was a really entertaining draw, a goalless draw, I should say. And so Mexico gave a good showing of themselves. And these are the two teams who've set down the marker. That, they in the best position to come out of Group A now.
Brazilian fans were really expecting and hoping for a win. This is the host nation. They've had the beat of Mexico in every single World Cup match that they've played before. They beat them in the Confederations Cup last year. Mexican fans, most of them were satisfied with that draw. How do you think Brazil has taken this one? Is it a loss, or are they going to just like roll up the sleeves and go into the next match?
I think they'll just move on from here. Mexico put up a really good performance. I think they'll look back, and I mean the Mexican goalkeeper was outstanding yesterday. Brazil will look back on the game and like feel that they could have done better in taking their chances. But on the balance of it, I think it's a good draw. I think Mexico are coming together nicely as a team. They struggled to get to the World Cup, but now that they're here, they're putting up a really solid performance. And I think they were value for money for their draw. I don't think they were outclassed in any way by Brazil. I think Brazil are going to have to go back and say, are we really title contenders? I think they're really lacking up front. I think Joe and Fred are falling a bit short. If you look at the likes of Argentina have 5 strikers who are probably all better than Brazil strikers. And so I think that's an area where Brazil are struggling. And they might even think of going for Neymar up front and bringing one of the other midfielders in and, just go that route.
Yeah, now, like talking about the Mexican goalkeeper, he got man of the match, Mr. Ochoa, Guillermo Ochoa. He had a string of 6 saves. That matches the best in any World Cup ever. And he was incredible.
One of his saves, the one from Neymar's header, they actually are putting it down as, that might go down as one of the greatest World Cup saves of all time because it was an exceptional save. What he did really well is he made himself big in the goal. He was imposing in every way, even in the one-on-one situations. He came out and with authority, he made himself big, making the goal very small for the Brazilians. And he really put in a man-of-the-match performance. And the funny thing with him is that he's a free agent. He doesn't have a club at the moment. I think his contract just ended with Ajaccio. So, I mean, he's going to have suitors left, right, and center after a performance like this.
Now, there's a certain South African coach who I heard was looking and trying to make calls to the man last night.
Yeah, they were joking about that, so we'll see if he ends up in South Africa.
Right. Now, but in terms of like how Mexico played, do you, like you said, Brazil, Mexico, I think you made this prediction last week as well. They're the 2 teams that might be going through, hey?
My prediction was actually Brazil, Croatia.
Croatia.
So Croatia play Cameroon today. That's a key game for them. Obviously, Cameroon and Croatia having lost their first games, whoever loses today gets knocked out. So we obviously looking forward to that one.
We'll touch on that a little later.
Yeah.
But that is quite key because what's happening right now is that the dust is settling and now we're getting to see who the wannabes are and who the real contenders are going to be.
Definitely. Obviously, Brazil, Mexico now have 4 points in the group. The game today is vitally important to see what the group shapes up going into the last round of games.
Now let's go to the last match of the night, the Russia-South Korea match. That was a very dull affair for most of the match. It's quite worrying, I would say, if Russia is going to be playing like this.
I think both teams coming into the game, because of the result between Belgium and Algeria, both of them were a bit apprehensive because they didn't want to lose. I think they wanted to stay close enough and make sure that they at least get the point. And once the goal was scored it was unfortunate, but once the goal was scored, the game livened up a bit. And then now Russia had to come out all out because Korea, when they took the lead, Russia had to come with all out attack to make sure that they at least get something out of the game. So the way they played was based, I think, purely on the result of the first game.
I mean, that unfortunate incident that you're talking about is the goalkeeper literally almost scooping the ball into the back of his net. It slipped out of his hands, off his shoulder, and rolled into the back of the net.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate incident. We've seen a few goalkeeping errors in the tournament already, most notably from Iker Casillas, who's one of the best goalkeepers. He'll go down as one of the best of all time. So Akinyev will definitely feel aggrieved by his role in that, but it's unfortunate, but the good thing, Russia had the fortitude to bounce back. And so getting the 1-1 result in the end, I think, was a fair reflection of that game as well.
Now, the one thing that I'd want to touch on would be the fact that Russia is going to be hosting. If you can cover, it's going to be hosting the next World Cup if things go as they are scheduled. Playing like this, they wouldn't necessarily want to go the way of other hosts in the past and lose in the first round. Can you give us something about that in 20 seconds?
No, definitely. I mean, they host in the next 4 years, and I think they've got 4 years to really improve on this squad. The squad as it is right now is not going to make a huge impact in the next 4 years. So they're really going to have to rebuild over the next 4 years and make sure that they solidify the squad. I'm sure they're going to want to bring in a lot of fresh young legs because it is an aging squad. So this squad is probably going to be revamped.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark. And we'll see you in the next hour when we preview tonight.
Definitely. Thanks, Ken.
Phenomenal. Right. Now, let's take a